Hey guys, welcome to the F&O show with Bereez. We had a very interesting day today. Finally, Nifty followed queue of international markets and opened gap up after a really good rally in US stocks. That rally was owing to lower inflation data that came, lower than expected rather. So it looks like inflation is finally cooling off, and that is of course really good for stocks. And of course, following to that, Nasdaq, which was lagging for quite a long time, finally rallied up, taking all the tech stocks with it. And of course, we saw ripples of that in our market also today. We opened about a percent gap up and we rallied about 100 points, the 80 odd points from there in Nifty. And because Nasdaq had done so well yesterday, all the IT stocks did well. And when generally IT stocks do well, Nifty as a whole does not correct drastically if all the other major stocks also support it. And we saw that HDFC Bank also rallied by quite a bit today, of almost 6 percentage points each. And owing to that, we did not see much of a correction intraday also in the index, as you can see in the chart. We opened up and we pretty much kept moving up throughout the day. It was a little difficult to trade intraday today because despite India VIX crashing by 6-7 percentage, the premiums on the put call side were not decaying much. Now, of course, in an uptrending day, premiums are not expected to decay much on the call side, anyways. But at least some sort of correction in the premiums I was expecting in the second half, and that did not happen. And at the same time, puts were not decaying with the kind of pace I was expecting either. So all in all, I started my day with 18,600 call, 17,950 push. And as the rally continued, I rolled my put up by one strike and I ended up at 18,000 push. But call were not, uh, problem was calls were not blowing up enough to roll them back further, and puts were not decaying enough to roll them up and assume additional risk if there is some correction in the later half, as we had seen in previous few trading days. So I did not move my positions much. I ended the day with about 0.1% loss, which is not really much at all. So all in all, I'm quite happy with it. Of course, with this big gap, it will be interesting to see how market behaves on Monday. Originally, I had plans to carry some option positions over the weekend, but uh, I thought against it, considering I thought I'll see how the market behaves first, and then I'll rather start thinking of positions to be carried overnight once some clarity in the market is there. I was expecting some retracement of 18,000 yesterday. That is, at yesterday's close, I was hoping a flattish opening, retest of 18,000, and then we would move forward. But now that we have opened gap up, I think 18,000 is once again cemented as a decent support for long term, as it was seen in options data as well. 18,000 puts were written quite heavily even at yesterday's expiry as well, despite market hovering around that level. So I think traders, as traders, we can watch for 18,000 put writing throughout the week. I will be doing exactly that. On the upside, I think 18,350 was my earlier level to be watched, and we have closed right around there. So I'm not really sure what to do with the call side just yet. We will see how the market opens on Monday, and then I will make a view for the next week, I guess. That is for the Nifty. I think we can shift to Bank Nifty now.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. I,
In
I,
Bank Nifty, do you want to?
no, no, you continue. I'll continue later.
Sure thing. So in Bank Nifty, at least setup was there was some sort of intraday movement more than Nifty at least. As you can see in the chart, Bank Nifty touched 41,939 level, 41,950 level rather. And this was originally marked by Kshitij. So I think he has a trade there. Kshitij, would you like to explain
Yeah,
if there
yes,
was a trade here?
yes. I would also like to tell you guys that I am an option buyer and Gandhar is an option seller. Okay, so for a buyer, he really has to time the market. So I had been looking at this level since I think 3 4 days now, and today when the markets really opened gap up, I just waited for this level to come, and I initiated a long position, which was also given to our Telegram members, which is free, which is you guys can just join in, and whenever I find a setup, I had mentioned that I will go long near 41,950 levels at 9:20 in the morning itself. As soon as it formed a reversal pattern, I did go long in a call option of 41,900 C. Ended up booking 30 points gain, and that was the only trade that I took. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So
Gandhar.
yeah, so as you can see, viewers, it's not really that complicated. If you know what you are doing and if you know basics of options, you can use this tool really well to gain decent returns from the market. There was another trade that I had mentioned in yesterday's F&O show that was on the basis that the movement of Bank Nifty and Fin Nifty had diverged a bit. Bank Nifty was outperforming and Fin Nifty was underperforming. And today we saw that Bank Nifty, I think, moved up by some 1 point odd percent and Fin Nifty moved up by a whopping 2.7%. And the trade was supposed to be Bank Nifty short, Fin Nifty long. So I just did a rough calculation because, as I mentioned, because of lack of liquidity, it would be very difficult to take this trade with real money. So I was just tracking it for the sake of it, and I think at the market close, this trade would give close to I think 2%, 2 or 3% on deployed capital. That is deployed margin for the futures. So for a couple of days of trade, it's not really a bad trade. If some of you are thinking of making this into a system, please go ahead and let us know how it goes. But do keep in mind that the liquidity in FinNifty is still pretty bad. Today, I think spreads were at some 7, 8, 10 rupees even at times. But even after considering the spreads, that it would have been a nice trade to take because it's a correlation trade. So of course, the risk by the nature of the trade is not that high. Even if the margin calculation does not help you, you will need to pay full margin for both the futures, but the max loss would be quite limited. Uh, USD INR we had mentioned in our very first F&O show. USD INR is making large moves on both sides. Rather, it made a large red candle yesterday. At least it tried to make a decent green candle today, and so it will be an interesting script to track. 80.5 is still the level I'm watching, and I do trade in uh, currency futures and options as well. So I am tracking this very closely, 80 level, because I am expecting a good bounce from here. Whether to structure the trade in futures and options remains to be seen, depending upon the market and margin requirements and so on. Exactly. Thank you, Kshitij. What he has drawn is exactly what I would like to trade. A range between 80 and 82. It would be a really easy range to trade actually,
Yeah,
because
and
now
currencies
that
do
market.
tend to have a range. So yeah.
Yes. Especially when you track a currency like USD INR, it does not move very unpredictably as long as you manage your risk and do not simply go by the low margin requirement. Because if I don't know whether our viewers know or not, but a single lot of USD INR only requires about, I think, 2,300 or something rupees of margin. So, and that the notional value of that lot is still quite high. That is $1,000 notional value. So, every time a USD INR, the chart that you are seeing moves by 1 rupee, your M2M profit or loss moves by 1,000 rupees per contract. So, you might go in with 100 lots just because your capital allows it. But 1 rupee, 2 rupee move against you overnight can really wreck your position. So, do keep that in mind if you are if you are an FNO currency trader, or if you are planning to trade in USDINR or any such currencies. Shall we mention my experiment with uh, Bitcoin options as
Yeah,
well?
yeah, go ahead. Why not?
Yeah. So
You want me to put the
uh,
Bitcoin chart?
yeah, sure.
The Binance one
It's
will
it's
do, right?
yeah. Now crypto charts are a little difficult to
Yeah,
interpret, at least for me, because the levels are not very clear. Mind you, let me be very clear. I am risking $10 worth of my money on Bitcoin trade. So this is just for the heck of it, just to see how it goes. I have no intentions of ever deploying heavy capital in this kind of cryptocurrency market, simply because there are no regulations. There have recently been very large scale scandals involving billions of dollars, both on currency side, both on exchanges side. So I have no intention of risking my capital. I put in $10. I took trade for $5. I bought a long dated put and I shorted a short dated put. After that, Bitcoin moved down, so I booked the position. I made about $1 on it. So I'm just tracking it for the fun of it, because I had seen a lot of people quite interested in this. So I'm just checking the strategies and things like that, how the execution works, what kind of charges there are. I have it's just a side thing, if you will.
yeah.
It's equivalent to fidget spinner for me, if I'm being very honest. If I have nothing else to do, I'll look at the chart, I'll punch in a trade and see how it goes. That's about it. It's
But
not
now
a
that if
serious
you
thing
see
at
it
all.
also, technically it did like top. There's a proper textbook double top pattern here, and the trend has changed. If there has to be a view given, I would still be bearish until and unless it doesn't start moving above 30,000 levels.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem I realized in cryptocurrency is, if you smooth out the chart, it gives decent moves. Like the double top you mentioned,
Yeah,
it has given decent moves, but the kind of stop losses that would have to be on your trade are simply ridiculous. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
would have to trade with some 20% stop loss on a futures position, which will incrementally require higher and higher margin as the position goes in loss. So from a trade management point of view, it really does not make sense
yeah,
for me.
yeah. True that.
And
True
still,
that.
charges are really high when you trade in this. Comparing comparatively, even if you consider a full-time broker like Kotak or ICICI Direct, it's still very expensive to trade in cryptocurrency. So our viewers can uh,
There was a
sort of estimate
40%
how
tax, right? Something that was added. If I'm right.
that tax is still
After you
after the
settle
trading
whatever income
activity.
you make, it'll be charged
30%.
40%. 30.
30%. All crypto assets will attract a tax of
Okay.
30%. So, for people who are not already in 30% bracket, it is quite a disadvantage for them. And there are no deductions allowed against it. So,
Okay.
like in our regular F&O trading, you can claim some business expenses. I don't think the same are allowed with crypto related income. I'm not sure. Do consult your CA, but yeah, it is still not very clear, and there are no protections provided by the government of India for these. So if your broker runs away with your money, there is
Yeah.
still a way to recover that. If a crypto exchange runs away with your money, well, hardly. Your stop loss is at zero when you trade in crypto, as we say.
True that. True that.
Whether currency moves against you or your broker is just a matter of detail, not really.
If your
It's
hands really scratch to trade everything, I think I would suggest that trading commodities is way better than looking out
yeah,
for
yeah,
cryptos.
yeah. Intraday commodities are much better than
Yeah,
crypto
and
if you
generally
still
the
want
the
something that.
MCX market generally starts moving after 5 p.m. in the evening. So somebody who wants to
Yeah.
trade after 3:30 also can start looking into
Mm.
commodity markets. I don't
We
trade
have
them,
never,
but
yeah,
just telling
yeah,
you.
neither do I. Just a disclaimer for viewers, we have never traded in commodity markets. We do have accounts, but we still haven't traded
Yeah,
anything.
I have a philosophy of practice one kick thousand times and not thousand kick one time. So I'm sticking to equity and now sticking to only index. So yes,
Yeah, that's better.
yes,
One good trade can
yeah, is
sort of
enough.
pay
Is
you
enough.
well
Yes.
enough. Yeah. I think we have ventured quite far from our
Yeah,
regular
yeah,
F&O.
yeah.
So today we reached crypto today. So that's an achievement, I guess.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah, I think
call it a day then.
yes, yes, definitely. So our viewers can also enjoy the weekend that is ahead, and we can as well.
And they can shoot up all the questions in the comment section regarding stocks or anything that you feel like asking related to finance. Please feel free to comment and ask us questions. We will surely answer them.
Yes, and of course our socials are in the comments. So you can join our Telegram group, as Kshitij said earlier. You can follow us on Instagram. You can visit our website bereez.in and follow. You should of course subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you get alerted every time we upload After Hours with Bereez and F&O Show with Bereez. Thank you guys and have
Nice.
a great weekend.
Great weekend, guys. Thank you.